got three houses. I got three houses. I got three more houses. Hello,
Lucky.
Yo, what up?
I'm not even going to bother doing the times thing. We're going to go. We're going straight in.
Cool.
The podcast has started. We just launched.
Wow.
God damn, it started.
Good stuff, man.
It's time played 3HR.
I'm looking forward to today's episode.
Yeah, you're hyped?
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Okay, that's good. I feel good about that. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah. Day okay?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
League of Legends World Championship this week.
Yeah, you were telling me that no luck for the teams.
No, my boys didn't do very well.
How many teams compete in one of these things?
Which is a real squash,
actually.
Man.
Is it like 5 teams?
No, so it's I think 12 in the group stage.
Mm-hmm.
And there's more in like the pre-group stages that they did for the first time this year, which is like a play-in tournament. So a bunch, because before there would be like some wild card teams, but instead they've sort of filtered those out by putting them against the third tier teams of each region.
Okay, I'm losing interest.
And they play against each other, and they sort of it basically filters out to the best teams, which is good.
That is good. You know, I was
I watched it like all day, and then I talked to you and said, let's do a podcast, and then I got a pie and covered the parents' office for a while, took some phone calls.
Yeah,
that's about it. What about you?
My day has been hang on, can you just turn me down the audio? I just heard myself. Sorry.
Yeah. Write down. Sorry.
Loud. My day has been pretty chill. It's my day off today from work. It's a Friday, which is nice. Woke up slowly, got up like 8:30. Went got a coffee, all the usual bits. Played some video games, finished Steam Dig.
Oh yeah?
That game is only like 7 hours.
Dude, I'm really close then.
Yeah.
Really close.
Yeah.
I got the jetpack.
Yeah, you're getting there. You got like another hour or so, maybe a bit more.
Zippy.
But like I think I probably sped through it towards the end because I got a little sick of like it got like a bit too hard. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Well, I just like some of the like caves are like just slightly too hard, and I couldn't be bothered with them.
I think some of the enemies are slightly too hard.
Yeah, so there are some of them that are pretty cool, but like a lot of them are a little annoying.
Like I think the fact that they can all be killed with an explosive, but are like range super hard to super easy with your pickaxe kills. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what we're talking about.
We're talking about this game called Where the Goats Are, which is on itch.io. Is it itch.io or itch.io?
I like to say itch.io.
Yeah.
But itch.io.
It's a game that I just like stumbled upon one lazy work morning when I had like an hour's free time, and I just was looking for something. Where the Goats Are is like a free game. Anyone can play Where the Goats Are. It's just like a little indie game. And I was just kind of delighted and surprised by it. It sort of lived up to the screenshots because there's not much else going on other than those screenshots, I guess. But and I just played it, and I just thought, yeah, I kind of want to talk about this on the podcast. I feel like maybe Lockie and I would be able to enjoy it in some ways. So I just told you to play it, and you've played it, I assume.
Yeah.
How many hours did you play of it?
Like an hour.
Okay, yeah. I think I probably played like an hour and a half, maybe 2.
I mean, the playthrough, like, isn't it going to last about an hour for everyone? Because it's like a structured day.
What do you mean?
Like, this game lasts the same amount of time.
No, it doesn't.
Louis, for fuck's sake. Did you not get to the end of this game?
No.
Oh my god, then you didn't play it for an hour and a half.
Yes, I did. I know, because I wasn't working.
What?
I definitely played it for like an hour and a half.
Well, that's like one of the biggest points I had about this game.
Oh no, that's a problem.
See, there's an ending to this game.
It felt like an ending was coming, I must say.
And you just stopped?
Yeah, I got bored. I think work started happening and I got back to work.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, see, I assume this game just went on forever.
That's really funny. No, it doesn't. Which is one of the things I found weirdest about this game, and like super conflicting whether I did like it or didn't like it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we're here now.
We're here. It's happening.
I feel like I'm gonna have to explain the ending to you.
Yeah, okay.
Do we know who makes this game?
Oh, that's a really good point. I should have paid close attention to that. I don't
Which
know.
is something you're normally pretty good at.
Yeah.
So
Maybe why don't you talk and I'll look it up.
we'll let you off. I'm already on the page.
Okay.
It's made by like a one-man studio called Memory of God.
Memory of God.
Solo indie developer called Memory of God.
Cool.
Goes by the name of.
Radical. So tell me the
Very
ending to the video game.
So this game does have an ending.
Uh-huh.
And to set up the start of this game,
Yeah.
because it's like a very indie game, basically you're a lady and you have 2 goats to look after, and you have to feed the goat and you milk the goat and you make food, and it's just super repetitive day after day.
Yep.
And it feels really nice. This game. And did you read the letters?
Well, that's something I want to talk to you about. Was I didn't end up reading most of the letters.
Okay, so.
So
this is really funny. Really funny because you really like this game.
I do really like this game. And I liked the letters. But for me, I found that the letters, I never had enough time in the day to read the letters, and I really liked that, and I didn't know if it was deliberate, but I always felt like I was just slightly short of time.
Yeah.
To read the letters.
And yeah, because these days are set structured, and you have to try and get as much out of each day to produce like food from these goats, even just to buy hay to keep feeding these goats. So it's got this weird like balance where it very much feels like you have to meet quotas.
Yeah. So I do actually just want to explain the basic idea of what you're doing in Where the Goats Are. So it's basically just like one screen of a farm. It's sort of like, what would you call that color palette?
It's kind of like
sandy,
pastel, like sands and
oranges.
It's like
soft oranges.
It's like a sandy sort of, I guess, very dry grass or desert sort of look.
Yeah. It made me think of like what I imagine. Oh man, the country. Literally, I had the name of the country in my head and it disappeared. Anyway, it made me think of one of that country. So you wake up every day. You got goats. You got milk to make cheese. And then like a couple of things happen a day, and there's some just like general like looking after sort of very, very light sort of farm, garden simulator type mechanics. Very simple, very basic. Man comes over to give you letters every day. That's like the entire game. I really like a game, by the way, that you can like describe in like under a minute. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and it looks great, and it kind of feels, to your allusion to like a country, it's kind of like poor Eastern European hot country.
Yes.
Is the sort of vibe I get. Maybe like it's just someone, and you play an old lady who's totally removed from any civilization, and you can just tell that this is her whole life.
Yes.
And I think this is one of the things that this game does so well, is it like really, in the kind of way that there are like biopic movies, this almost feels like a bio game that just gives you some like.
Wait. You're gonna have to. Okay, I might be about to show my ignorance here. You said biopic.
Yeah.
Is that different to biopic?
I've never heard of biopic.
I've always said biopic.
As in like bio for like biography.
Yeah.
pick for like picture.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah,
So you say biopic.
I say biopic.
Okay. I wonder which one's the way most people say it. I don't know if I really hear people say it out loud.
I'm pretty sure it's biopic, but I could be wrong.
Because it's biography.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
it's also picture.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, sorry, you were saying.
Anyway, it like gives you a really nice little like view into someone's life that you'd never experienced. Even though I'm sure this guy, I mean, maybe he has, maybe he hasn't like lived on a farm in this sort of place, but regardless of whether he has or she hasn't, you know, I feel like I'm getting a glimpse into this random life that I'd never experience in game form, which is super good.
Yeah, it's sort of it's a vignette of this woman's life, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about this game.
It's like a little poem.
It was like day after day, you're just doing the same thing, and it works super well because it's like not a large game, no real price tag, so which I think's nice in that way because as a customer, like you're not expecting any big experience from it because you haven't even like I mean, like I donated.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I should say I did say it was free. It's pay what you want is the correct term, I guess.
And they had like a $2 donation, which I paid that. But,
Yeah.
it's like £1 something. It's for like an experience, gameplay experience. I'm not expecting anything from it. Just give me whatever you got, and I'll take it.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things I liked most about this game was how unextraordinary it was. And like how repetitive, because it's which is something you don't see very often, a game that just shows you someone's life in an interesting way, where the entertainment comes from like the art style and like an insight rather than like story driven narrative.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I really...
However,
Oh, sorry, you have a point.
the game has an ending where it all shifts.
Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, I imagine that will change my opinion on the game because
Yeah.
like my feelings to it are at this point that I really like a game that is only really interested in giving you like just one distilled sort of feeling, and doesn't have like some arc. And I think that's like like I said, it's like a little poem. Like it's a similar thing of like this like, this is the feeling we're trying to create. We did this with like these very simple systems and music and visuals. It's repetitive. It gets the point across. You can stop whenever you feel like you've had enough, or you can always just like come back to it like an old poem in a way. And like I that's why for me I really liked it. Is I liked the feeling it left me with, or just like imbued in me that whatever it was that Wednesday morning.
Nice.
Whatever.
I like the poem thing because it does. It kind of feels like the most. Yeah, it's just a good way of describing it.
So this ending then.
Yeah, it's
This is going to
I didn't
destroy
like
my
it.
world.
Yeah, massively. So if you read the letters,
So I
the first one-
read some letters and it felt like things were getting worse. I had to I had to breeze through these letters because I was
And
stressed
you
about
see,
getting
what
shit done.
Yeah, it's stressful. I mean, it's like especially at the start, it's like a resource management game.
Yeah.
And like alludes to all these things that mean you're going to be managing resources and time, and obviously time's one of your resources. But your goats go to bed at a certain point
The bastards.
when it comes night, and so that's when I read my letters.
Yeah.
When I had no more, I didn't have to fuck around with the goats anymore. It was just me
Yeah.
and the letters. And I never read things in games.
Yeah.
I normally just spam through them, but I skimmed them because it seemed like such a big part of the game.
Sure.
Because it's the only source of narrative you get, seeing as it's literally a still screen. But basically, the first one's like all happy, then the second one's dramatically less happy. There's like a very, very sudden switch, and as you play on, these crows start turning up, and all the letters start talking about how...
Oh yeah, I saw crows at some point, and I thought, oh, that's a bit dark.
Yeah, and then the letters start going like, everything's freaking out. I hope this doesn't reach you. It's super ambiguous. And it's like all these letters of worry, like, I haven't seen this person in a while. Again, hope you're okay, do what you have to do. And then towards the end of the game, just more and more crows come,
Oh man.
and then the well dries up.
Oh no.
The goats are spooked.
Oh, not the goats.
The goats are spooked.
Oh.
They stop eating. They die, and then there's no more food for you. Your lemon tree dies that you've been watering every day, and then it just ends in like
Oh, lucky.
a. It ends in like a great plague has swept over your farm, and you bury your goats,
Oh
and the
no.
game ends.
That's a huge bummer.
Sorry, bud.
That's a man. Like, so I don't hate that. I think probably if I had played that, I would have been quite impacted by that because the game had done a really good job of with very little resources, making me feel very comfortable and safe in that space. And if like the game creator's purpose was to make you feel saddened or unsettled, that sounds like that would have been pretty effective. But I think that is an interesting. That is like an interesting sort of flip from it being a game about because it's now not a game about being one feeling. It's a game about having and losing something, I guess. So like
An event, yeah.
So that changes it entirely. And I guess that's kind of interesting because it effectively, in my mind, it goes from being the sort of it goes from being like a simulator, like being a thing that's about sort of displacing yourself and putting yourself in another position for an hour in another person's life that in my mind is going on forever. So I can just sort of jump into it whenever, to being like a start and stop narrative. So now it's not about simulating something, it's about telling a story over a period of days.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said.
So that's like a really crazy... Yeah, it's like a really weird flip in my head.
And like, because with you now having that knowledge, like, I really like this game. I thought it was super fun, super good. But I had this very weird, like, conflicting opinion where, especially the whole start of the game sets up this whole life that you very quickly establish to, and realize you have all these things to keep up. But then, like, it establishes it all, but it's all irrelevant. Because by the end of the game, it doesn't matter where you are. And I thought, and like I was mentioning this to you earlier, but like the fact that there were these game mechanics, this guy comes in and you can, so you produce this goat food from, I assume it's like goat's milk, and then you can like sell that to the guy for more goats or food. So like it gave me this idea that, if you kept playing this game for long enough, you could build up to a whole field of goats.
Yeah.
And like try and balance resources however it goes. But to me, it more like that was there to suggest this world and like to create a world. The fact that there are these game mechanics that are available to you, but ultimately like don't affect your gameplay. Because I could never even get close to buying a new goat. I was barely just making it enough to feed my own goats.
Right. Yeah, yeah. It sort of, I guess, it uses your understanding of like video game systems. Like you generally consider that like eventually I'll be able to upgrade this to a whole field of goats.
Exactly.
It uses that like perceived bias that you may have and uses it to sort of utterly destroy you when like everyone gets killed.
You at the end.
And takes away everything that you worked so hard for, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean like. But then I sort of realised, like 20 minutes in, and this guy keeps coming and offers me like the ability to buy more goats. But then I think, hang on, I'm some old as fuck lady who just couldn't even. I can barely milk 2 goats by myself in a day. If I get any more goats, they're going to need more hay, and I just don't think I'm going to be able to get around all the goats. So I liked that. It like suggests even further back than recent past that, maybe if I was younger, I would be interested in buying goats or getting some help on board and starting up a business.
Okay.
But this is just literally like, this is what this lady does every day.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't need more than 2 goats to survive. She's
Exactly.
doing fine.
Exactly. It's something for her to do and like survive.
I don't want to brag or anything,
Yeah, shoot.
But
You got a third goat.
I got a third goat.
Fourth goat?
No.
Okay.
So I think that might have been why I didn't have really enough time to read these letters, is because I would read the letters not at night, which is a very intelligent thing to do, I must say. I would read them in between. Once you get the milk from the goat, you take it to this like what I assume is some cheese processing machine. I assume you're making cheese out of this.
I see. It's like a cooker.
Yeah, you sort of mix it around, and then it like goes onto a heater, and it heats up. And while it's heating, you're free to do whatever you like. And I would try to cram my letter reading into that bit. But once I had 3 goats, I just didn't have the time. I had to be like, okay, now I got to milk the other goats while this cheese is cooking. So I just ended up not. And I think just before I turned the game off, I got like a letter that was like a little disturbing. But you know what it might have been? I'm not sure. I wonder. Maybe the reason I feel like I played more than an hour is that the game only progresses once you read the letters.
Oh, does it really?
I have no idea, but maybe that's why I feel like I played a significantly larger portion.
Maybe. It's possible.
That might be why. Maybe not.
Maybe because, yeah, I always read the letters. Because I felt like... Because I didn't want to, like, miss out on any of the letters.
Well, it's also like... You said, like, you rarely read, like, stuff in games, and, like, I get that. And that's usually because there's loads of stuff going on in a video game to do.
Exactly.
Whereas this game has, like... Her whole life is to milk these goats and to get eggs from the chickens and to water the plant. So
I had no idea what those eggs were for as well.
So I would always take them, and when you take them back into the house at night, I hear crunching noises. So I assume she's just munching on these eggs.
Oh, interesting.
So I was worried that if she wasn't eating these eggs, she would die. So this was her whole source of food. So I was like, okay, well.
Funny.
I mean, that's a lot of eggs. She goes through a lot of eggs every day. There was like a whole basket of eggs I'd get from these hens and chickens every day.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
Which would just wander through the fence, the holes in your fence. It was very stressful.
Yeah. Did you ever? Did one of your goats ever leave the fence?
Yep.
Yeah. But you could just call them
That was
back,
stressful.
which was like, oh, okay, chill.
It was very stressful.
Chill. Yeah, I mean, for me, ignoring the whole ending stuff, because that's not my experience of the game, I just reminded how much I enjoy games that are really honest about, like, sort of what they are. And I never, like, and, like, it's nice. It's just nice to play a game that's not trying to be too much. And yeah, it's just like to distill that feeling, right? When it uses repetition to do that, like we haven't done, maybe one day we will do Papers, Please on this podcast, but it's like a similar thing. Papers, Please has like an overarching narrative, but there is like an endless mode. And it's the same with Passepartout in a way. It's like a similar thing of like that sort of repetitious, sort of real life almost set of tasks that you have to get used to doing. And I don't know what it is I find satisfying about it. I guess it's just like, it's tiny achievements, and that's often what video games are about, is tiny achievements, but it's being honest about what those achievements are instead of being like, I just slayed a huge boss in Dark Souls, how great am I? It's like, I managed...
I got out 3 wheels of cheese.
Yeah, today I managed to like milk all 3 of my goats, and I read the letter in between. And like, that's like someone's life. I live someone's life for a day. And I feel comfortable with that. Like, I feel happy to be able to say that's how I spent half an hour of my day, instead of it being like this sort of false sense of fulfillment other games try to give you. It's like a more honest version of what that is. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, like, I don't think I get that as much.
Sure.
But I do like the fact that, and again, until like the ending, and I mean, it's talking like it's a bad thing. Like, this is just a game that one person made as a passion project. Like, it doesn't have to be anything. You know, it's not for, like, he dedicates it to a friend who I assume a friend at the start. So, like, you know, whatever their relationship is, who knows?
Is it just one?
Like,
it's just one man.
I think so.
You don't know the name of the guy? It's.
I looked at their Twitter.
I mean, it doesn't matter if he is I assume it's a he,
I mean,
right?
it was like a
He or she.
yeah. I don't know. It's literally their Twitter page is literally just all screenshots of the game.
Ah, cool.
I think it's like all they got.
Right, sure.
Yeah, like the banner, the profile picture.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it's just made by one person, I really like it regardless of how many people made it. But I think it's kind of I think it's great.
Yeah, description amateur indie dev. I'm pretty sure it's just one person. So like this game doesn't have to be anything, which I think is worth mentioning. But going back to it, like there just aren't many games at all that aren't about extraordinary stories. You know what I mean? Whereas if you compare it to like movies, some of my favorite movies are about, you know, just human interactions and like small scale stories about the dramas of something on a much less world destroying scale.
Yeah.
You know, which is why I was kind of bummed when this like plague struck everything.
Yeah, I think even though that does sound like it bummed me out to listen to, I think the one thing when you mentioned the word like plague and it just like covered everything, that just sounds a little bit I mean, I haven't played it so I couldn't say, but it sounds like something it maybe didn't need to do. Maybe there was another way of removing that thing you had without it being like hugely dramatic.
Yeah. But again, like I feel bad like saying what something should have been when it's just one person.
Well, it's like
it's made like just a passion project. But like that's I'm with you.
I mean,
it's just what I would have rathered.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it's what I would have rathered.
It should be whatever the hell they wanted to make.
Exactly, but we would have both liked it.
Yeah.
If it had just been continued on the way it started.
Yeah, I mean, if they wanted to like make an endless mode, I would be chill with that. But then I feel like the fact of calling it an endless mode probably destroys the whole purpose. But anyway, that doesn't matter. That's just my own bullshit.
Yeah. Anyway, it's fun.
Yeah, I really like it.
Nice. Really nice. I again, like, not at all an issue, but I had quite a few bugs that stumped me a couple times.
I had a couple
I
of
had to hard reset to to get back on track.
A couple little like floating objects or things clipping or stuff like that.
Yeah, getting stuck in fences.
Yeah, that kind of business. At one point, after the lady went to bed, goats came through the yard, and there were like 3 goats, and they walked from right to left. And I assumed it was like because maybe she was dreaming, but they like just clipped straight through the fence. They just kind of waltzed across the entire screen.
Interesting.
Not my goats.
I didn't have that.
Just like stranger goats appeared.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't know if that was on purpose or that was a bug, but it was fine. I accepted it as what it was.
One small thing I felt like was, and I guess it's a problem with video games, is like such a disparate, and this is like so vast it applies to pretty much every game, but such like a gap in knowledge of how to look after the farm as to how this lady would know to look after the farm.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm on this farm and I pick up a basket. I'm like, oh, maybe this is for the chickens.
Yeah.
And then I'll pick up and I'll harvest some eggs and I'm like, okay, now I have eggs. And then I'll go to the goat and I'm like, okay, what's this water for?
Yeah.
You know, I felt, and with such like a almost stress at the start on resource management, it felt kind of weird, you know, having no clue what to do, whereas obviously this lady, this is all she's
ever done, yeah.
So would be just so clued in.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like loads of games just fix that problem by doing the corny like amnesia stuff or like something like, I don't know, Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing. You're always like new to the town. You know, like you show up in Stardew Valley's town, whatever it's called, and you're like, it's like your uncle's farm and you're taking over it. So like it makes sense that you have absolutely no idea what you're doing. You're from the city.
And it's hard as nails as well because this stuff only comes around with experience, and obviously like you don't want hours and hours of gameplay or text to read.
I mean, for
to get that knowledge
for the most part,
before
like
you go into a game.
I actually just really liked how it kind of let you figure that out, and there was just like only a couple times would it be like, this is what you do with this, by the way, like and it wasn't like forceful. It just kind of let you like poke around the farm for a bit, like even though it maybe narratively doesn't quite make sense. I kind of enjoyed that like freedom.
Yeah, and I mean it works as well when it's like more day to day because it lets you figure that stuff out.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway, one man
where
or
the
woman
goats are.
made it.
One lady or man made a video game, and we liked it.
And we liked it.
Um,
It's pretty good.
yeah,
Itch.io.
I like Itch.io a lot. I sort of only visit it every once in a rare while when I remember it exists.
Yeah.
But every time I do, there's always something that looks kind of interesting.
It's because I mean there's a lot of crap on there as well.
Oh, so much crap.
It's like
So much crap.
obviously not even. I'm looking at something that looks kind of nice now actually.
Yeah.
World of Horror.
How are we spelling it?
HORRROR.
There's too many R's.
Yeah. 3 R's in the middle.
That's just too many. Lucky.
Yo, what up?
We've recorded a podcast
Yeah,
Another one.
of
of Time Played 3HR.
Yes, sir.
This podcast goes
You
up
can.
every Sunday on all the podcast things.
True that.
And maybe YouTube at some point.
True that.
I had a good time.
Me too. Good potty.
I'll speak to you soon.
Peace. See you at the same time next week.
Yes. Toodles.
Toodles.
Bye.
Bye.